J-Lo's life seemed to be going better, She got back with Ben Affleck. They're married, and career is still doing extremely well. But
she's banging hot.
Yeah, boy.
Best physically she's ever looked and felt.
She does look. Oh my gosh!
I
mean, I'm more about her talent, but
sure,
I have to look at her,
and her values and beliefs,
right.
and whatnot, right?
What she stands for. No, but she's very attractive, of course. But she's now suing and she's being sued by her former driver. One of the claims apparently is that he was promised a $200,000 salary to drive her around. I'm like, wow, I'll do that.
I believe it. I do believe it.
Because they're just used to money.
Yep.
But he said he never got anywhere close to that. And then she's countersuing because then there's like some extortion thing going on. It's like, I'll tell all your secrets that I heard you talk about in the car when I was driving you around.
I bet those were juicy.
Oh, you know it. We do have our official attorney, Lisa Lanier, on the phone. Good morning, Lisa.
Hey, good morning. This thing is, it's complicated. Happy New Year, by the way.
Thank you. Same to you.
It's lots of layers, like the onion. And it basically, this guy, he'd been with her for a long time. Hakab Manukin was his name, and he'd been her driver for a long time. And then the $200,000 came into play because she promoted him to be her manager of transportation and security, so the head of all that.
Okay.
And so that was the $200,000. But then here comes her manager and meets this guy, the manager, Benny Medina, and they don't hit it off. He does not like Hakab. And he just makes it really clear. He does not like this guy. And the story was that he was cursing him and berating him and belittling his English and saying he couldn't speak English and all this. And finally, Hakab can't take it anymore and he quits. And that's when then he sues and he said, look, I never got the salary I was promised. And where it really went south was that the driver's attorney apparently communicated to J-Lo's attorney that if they didn't pay $2.8 million, that the driver was going to start leaking personal information. Well, of course, you can't, that's pretty much blackmail. You can't do that. And I'm surprised the lawyer's not in trouble for it if that really happened. Right? Yeah, I mean, you can't do that. And then on top of that, he signed a non-disclosure agreement. All these celebrities, they make all their staff sign these non-disclosure agreements. So he would be in violation of that. So she countersued him for $20 million. And then the next thing you know, and this was just in the last day or two, that's why it's back in the news, the whole thing was dismissed. Oh. So I think she just slammed this guy because I think, I don't think he could match for $20 million blackmail, violation of the NDA, all that.
Now, let's say, though, you're promised a salary and then you don't get it. If they didn't do the blackmail part, could he have had a case on that?
Yeah, so typically, if you are in a non-contractual employment relationship, in other words, you're just hired without a contract, you're employed at will. And the majority of jurisdictions, if there's something that, for whatever reason, the employer needs to change your salary, they can do that, and you have a choice of continuing the job at the lower salary or you can leave. And that's in, all these employment at will states, which is the vast majority of states in the United States. So you're talking, during COVID, we saw this, some employers, they were hurting and they would say to their employees, look, I'm going to reduce everybody's salary instead of firing a bunch of people. And, if you can keep doing your job or you can leave. And that happens sometimes, and they are allowed to do that. Now, it's a little bit different if they have a written contract of employment that specifies the salary and for a certain time period, because then there can be a breach if there's a violation of that contract.
Or could the employer, I guess, could ask you to sign like an addendum or something?
Yeah, true.
They could ask you to revise it. Yeah, absolutely. They could ask you to revise it.
I'm not doing that.
And they're like, all right, you're fired. Like, wait, hold on.
What I meant was I am signing that.
What do I do now? Where do I sign?
Right. You can achieve kind of the same thing. Right.
Now, we on the show really need to understand, because I can't ever remember, what is the difference between blackmail and just putting proper pressure to get what you want?
Yes.
It's a subtle difference.
It's a fine line, but it's pretty close.
I think you can't ask for something in return, right?
Well, I mean, like here, I think it probably crossed, what it sounds like, is at least what J-Lo's allegation was that it may have crossed a line of that very fine line of saying, look, if you don't pay us $2.8 million, we will tell X, Y, and Z secrets that he heard while driving you. If it had been said more subtly, like, for example, that he could have made his demand, but he could have said, the testimony in court is going to get pretty detailed. I mean, he could. So there, he's not. He's not saying I'm going to tell these stories on you. Instead, he's just saying, a lot is going to be discussed in court. You could just say it a little more.
Or could you say
a little more subtly?
Jared, I'm very good at
No,
this.
I know.
We're trying to get good
Lisa,
at it.
as a witness, I could say this. I could say, Jared, I could come up to you and let's say I knew something about you. Would you rather me tell this fact that I know about you on the air or just put it on my Facebook page? That's all. That's all I would say.
He's too good at this.
You tell me. I didn't ask for anything in return.
Right.
But that might cause you to say, no, don't post it anywhere. I'll give you $1 million. But I didn't ask for it. All I said is, hey, do you want me to post this on my Facebook page?
I see.
Or do you want me to tell you on the air? Wouldn't that work, Lisa?
Yeah. What I like to use with opposing counsel, because it comes up sometimes in my cases, is I like to use the feather pillow analogy and say, once those feathers come out of the pillow, you can really never get them all back in. And, a lot of feathers are going to come out. So it's kind of, if he had just used a more subtle approach like
Could
that.
even say, I hope he can come to some sort of conclusion because, as of now, he's so upset he's planning to write a tell-all book and all that, like something like that.
Yeah, I think it's the return. The return. Like if I'm demanding, I'm blackmailing you for something. But if I'm just doing it regardless,
You're
if I
just
say I'm
kinda
going to do it,
without asking for it in return.
This really comes so easily for you, doesn't it? He's like, hold on, let me think of an example.
Be surprised.
Yep.
I'll be surprised if he writes a tell-all book, this driver, because I'm sure that non-disclosure agreement is strong. I think this $20 million lawsuit she slapped on him probably shut him up pretty quick for good, I would think.
Yeah, if you have more money, you can definitely win.
Don't mess with J-Lo. Don't mess with J-Lo.
Yeah, boy.
Wow.
All right. Well, as always, she's great. Official attorney of Jared and Katie in the Morning, Lisa Lanier. If you're ever injured on the job, she does a lot more than that. Contact her right away at hireaheavyweight.com.